Dana White delivered knockout speech as he told future UFC champions to leave in fiery rant. Dana White delivered a knockout speech in 2005 that remains iconic to this day. With just days until Christmas, we're looking at one thrilling knockout every day, whether that be verbal or physical. Up first is White's emphatic knockout speech 19 years ago when he told future UFC champions to leave in a fiery rant. Do you want to be a fighter? That is the question, is one of the most famous lines from his speech during The Ultimate Fighter Season 1. MMA pioneers Chuck Liddell and Randy Couture coached one team each in the inaugural season of White's reality TV show. TUF Season 1 premiered on January 17, 2005, and witnessed 16 MMA fighters, from light heavyweights to middleweights, participate for a UFC contract. All fighters resided together and competed in separate bouts that they were coached for by UFC legends Liddell and Couture. Lorenzo Fertitta calls me up and says, "What's going on? I'm here at the Ultimate Fighter gym and these guys are saying they're not going to fight." I was like, "What?" White said in a look back to the iconic moment 7 years ago. In the first season of TUF, there was originally confusion among fighters, who although knew they would be in physical battles, didn't think they were doing it for free. At the time, White's UFC was going through a tough period under extreme pressure with a tight budget to try and make the never-before-seen fighting league work. So after he caught wind of the fighters he had handpicked not wanting to actually fight, White embarked on one of the greatest speeches ever delivered on a reality TV show. Although only one of the contestants on the first series of The Ultimate Fighter would go on to be a UFC champion, plenty of them contested for gold. Nate Quarry, who was Couture's first pick, wound up fighting for the middleweight belt but lost to Rich Franklin at UFC 56 in November 2005. Josh Koscheck was in the same position but lost his only shot at UFC gold to MMA icon Georges St-Pierre at UFC 124 in 2010. And the same also applied to Diego Sanchez, who was beaten by another UFC legend in BJ Penn in his first and last shot at the lightweight title in 2009 at UFC 107. Kenny Florian was the standout of the four who almost reached UFC gold as he challenged for titles on 3 occasions. In 2006, Ken Flo lost a lightweight title bout to Sean Shirk, before suffering another defeat for the same belt against Penn 3 years later. After moving down to the featherweight division, Florian then lost out to Jose Aldo via unanimous decision at UFC 136 in what was his last ever UFC bout. Forrest Griffin was the sole contestant who won a UFC title. He upset Quinton "Rampage" Jackson at UFC 86 in July 2008 via unanimous decision after 5 rounds to be crowned the new light heavyweight champion.